This isn't just moving into perpetual beach time. This is an opportunity. Now, it's interesting because I don't know if a lot of people really look at it as such. I don't know if they think about some of the things that they might be able to do or look at it as a chance to take that person that's 45 or 18 or 30 and take that person into this next phase of life. Because many people are resigned to the fact that, you know what, 65, it's pretty well all over. I may have 30 years, which is going to be great, I think, but I'm old. I'm getting older. So we got to remember the person inside you is the person that's actually going into retirement. I find that there are many myths and misconceptions about this period of life, so I want to get rid of some of them, the most common ones that I see in the workshops that I conduct. Here's the first one. You become a new person when you retire. True or false? Yeah, of course. In fact, you actually become more of the person that you are. But I get this in my workshops. People will say, we're going to be so happy in retirement. We're going to go there. We're going to do that. We're going to be so happy. We're miserable now, but we're going to be so happy. Hey, you know what? If you're in this room, you're not yet retired, and you're already miserable. That's it. This is all she wrote, folks. You are who you are. Retirement's a transition. It's not a destination. In fact, psychologists call this continuity theory, and it defines or describes what we do in order to manage the aging process. Generally, it's like a security blanket. We become more conservative, not willing to take as many risks. We are prone to our prejudices and our biases, and not always for the best. We don't want to do a lot of new things. In fact, continuity theory suggests that if you didn't do something before, you are less likely to do it afterwards. And yet I get people who say, oh, got time. I got all this time. I'm going to do all these new things. And I say, yeah, you got time, but you got you. And if that person forgot that when you were younger and you wanted to do new things, you actually created the habits to do it, and nothing's changed. So if you want to learn how to golf, get some clubs, but for heaven's sakes, take lessons, put some time into it. It's not just that you have time available to do new things. All right, here's one. True or false? Retirement could be the longest single phase of your life. Yeah, we think so, right? Because you could be 30 years. All right, but I want you to think about this. From the time I'm 65 through to the time I'm in my late 80s, if I make it that far, I'm going to go through anywhere from 6 to 8 very distinct transitions, driven by my health or the health of my wife. It's not one long life phase at all, is it? It's a multi-phase journey. What's the average age in Australia that a woman will first become a widow if she's going to become a widow in her first marriage? 59. And 61 in her second marriage. Now, I want you to remember this. In Australia, of all Australian women over age 65, 60% of you are single, widowed, or divorced. Are you having fun yet? How about you? Yeah, there you go. You look around. I look around at the men who have 59-year-old wives, and they're going, oh, never mind. Okay, it's not one long life phase. It's a multi-phase journey. And here's what I want you to remember from that. In retirement, this phase of life, you want to do as much as you can, as quickly as you can, and hope you can do it for 30 years. You never put anything off in retirement, because this is what life gives us at this point in our life. I just want you to keep that in mind. Here's one. Retirement is just like a 30-year-long weekend. It's great leisure. I love Saturdays and Sundays because it's a break. I love weekends and holidays particularly because it's a break. Let me ask you this. If you have leisure 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 30 years, where's your break? You're saying, what do you mean, where's my break? It's leisure. But leisure is sweet because it's a break from something. The human condition is the more we do the same thing over and over again, it just becomes boring. And that's the same with leisure. In fact, it's called the paradox of leisure. So I want you to keep in mind that The paradox of leisure basically says, you know, maybe you should look at work as a break from leisure. And work doesn't have to be for pay, it can be those other things that we talked about. All right, how about this? True or false? Retirement is actually good for your health. You say no. Okay? False. How many people think it's good for your health? You're shaking you're the same person that wants perpetual leisure. Can you come up here for just a second? No. Don't like to play, eh? Okay. All right, I got something for you. All right, let's be clear, because I don't like to get up here and do pop psychology. The number one killer in retirement is retirement. All right? I want us to be clear on that. And you're saying, oh, come on. Basically, I'm going to live to be 100, and after all, I don't have the stress of work. This is going to be good, but that's not what the studies suggest. For example, if you retire and you don't do any other kind of work, you have a 40% more likelihood of having some kind of cardiovascular incident or stroke, 40%. You have an increased incidence of diabetes, about 23%. You have a 21% greater chance of some chronic condition. And if you do not work, your overall memory scores 25% less than somebody who works. And then the last one, dementia. Something we are going to face. For every year past the age of 60 that you work, you decrease your likelihood of dementia by 3.7% per year. Now think about this for a minute. 3.7% per year. Dementia is something that we are going to face more and more, and it's going to be one of those societal issues that we're all going to have to deal with. Not all of us will have dementia, but this is a big issue. So let me ask you again, how many people feel that retirement is actually good for your health? Human beings, and let's be clear on this, human beings are not meant to do nothing. So having said that, now you might say, well, that throws that vision of retirement out, but does that really mess up what you think you might be able to do at that period of time? I don't think so. I don't think it is. Because you can do the kinds of things that keep you engaged in life and keep your brain going. Remember, use it or lose it. And keep yourself feeling relevant, which is the mark of successful retirees.